Have you ever felt like the advice everyone swears by just doesn't quite fit your life? What if the path to true wisdom lies in questioning those very pieces of advice? Hello, Knowledge Journey community. I'm John, and today I want to take you on a journey where we challenge some of the most common life advice we've all heard and see how the principles of Stoicism offer a refreshing and empowering perspective. In our fast-paced world, we're constantly bombarded with advice on how to live our lives better, happier, and more successfully. But not all advice is created equal, and not all of it serves our true purpose. With the wisdom of Stoicism as our guide, we'll explore 5 popular life tips that I'm glad I never followed, and how this ancient philosophy helped me find a more balanced, meaningful life. Whether you're new to Stoicism or have been with us for a while, I promise you'll find something valuable in today's discussion. So let's dive in and see how embracing Stoic wisdom can transform the way we approach life's advice. Life advice number 1, always follow your heart. Let's start with a piece of advice that sounds almost romantic in its simplicity. Always follow your heart. It's a mantra we've all heard, echoing through movies, songs, and well-meaning conversations. But let's pause for a moment and think about what this really means. At first glance, following your heart seems like the best way to ensure happiness and fulfillment. After all, who wouldn't want to chase after their dreams and passions? But what happens when our emotions lead us astray? What if the heart, in all its passion, takes us down a path that reason would warn against? As a seasoned expert in Stoic philosophy, I've learned that emotions, while powerful, are fleeting and can often cloud our judgment. The Stoics teach us to prioritize reason and virtue over the whims of our emotions. It's about finding a balance where the heart and mind work together, guided by wisdom and practicality. Let me share a personal story to illustrate this. There was a time when my heart urged me to jump into a business venture that seemed exciting and promising. My emotions painted a picture of success and fulfillment. But when I took a step back and applied Stoic principles, evaluating the situation with reason and foresight, I realized that the venture was fraught with risks that I wasn't prepared to handle. Instead of plunging headfirst into potential disaster, I made a more measured decision, leading to a better, more sustainable outcome. So what's the key takeaway here? It's not about ignoring your heart, but about ensuring your heart and mind are in harmony. Let your emotions inspire you, but let reason guide your actions. By doing so, you'll find that your decisions are not only more sound, but also more aligned with your true values and long-term goals. As we move through today's discussion, keep this balance in mind. Let's explore how Stoic wisdom can help us navigate the complexities of modern life, starting with the very advice that might have led us astray. Life advice number 2, put yourself first. Now let's tackle another popular piece of advice. Put yourself first. In our self-centric world, this advice is often seen as the ultimate key to success and happiness. We hear it all the time. You have to look out for number 1. Don't worry about anyone else. Focus on your own needs. But is this really the path to a fulfilling life? From a Stoic perspective, this advice misses the mark. Stoicism teaches us the value of interconnectedness and the importance of contributing to the greater good. It's about understanding that we are all part of a larger community, and our actions should reflect this awareness. Let's delve into a personal example. There was a time when I was so focused on my own career goals that I neglected my relationships and community obligations. I was putting myself first, but it left me feeling isolated and unfulfilled. It was only when I started to balance my own needs with those of others that I found true satisfaction. By helping others and contributing to my community, I discovered a deeper sense of purpose and connection. The Stoics believed in the importance of living a life of virtue, which often means putting the needs of others ahead of our own desires. It's about finding that sweet spot where self-care and altruism coexist. When we lift others up, we also rise. So, what's the takeaway? It's not about sacrificing your own well-being, but rather about finding balance. Recognize the importance of self-care, but also embrace the joy and fulfillment that come from helping others. By putting yourself in the context of a greater whole, you not only enhance your own life, but also contribute to a better world. As we continue, think about how this shift in perspective might change the way you approach your daily interactions and decisions. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the best way to serve ourselves is by serving others. Life advice number 3, don't worry about what others think. Moving on to our third piece of advice, don't worry about what others think. On the surface, this advice sounds liberating. Imagine a life free from the judgments and opinions of others, where you can live authentically and without fear. But is it truly possible or even beneficial to completely disregard what others think? In the Stoic tradition, we find a more nuanced approach. Stoicism doesn't advocate for ignoring others' opinions entirely. Instead, it teaches us to discern between helpful and unhelpful feedback. The goal is to remain indifferent to baseless criticism while being open to constructive input that can help us grow. Let me share a personal experience. Early in my career, I was determined to prove myself and took the advice to not worry about what others think to an extreme. I ignored all feedback, convinced that my way was the best. But over time, I realized that I was missing out on valuable insights from colleagues and mentors. It was their constructive criticism that ultimately helped me improve and grow. The Stoics believed in the value of community and the importance of learning from one another. They taught that while we should not let ourselves be swayed by the whims of others, we should remain open to feedback that can guide us toward virtue and wisdom. So, what's the key takeaway here? It's about balance. Don't let unfounded criticism or the fear of judgment paralyze you, but also don't shut yourself off from the valuable perspectives of others. Learn to filter feedback, accepting what helps you grow and letting go of what doesn't. As we continue our journey today, consider how you can apply this balanced approach to feedback in your own life. Remember, it's not about being oblivious to others, but about being wise in how we let their opinions influence us. Life advice number 4, seize every opportunity. Let's dive into our fourth piece of advice, seize every opportunity. This advice is often delivered with a sense of urgency, urging us to grab every chance that comes our way, to say yes to everything and to fear missing out. But is this really the best way to navigate life? From a Stoic perspective, this advice can lead to a life of overwhelm and distraction. Stoicism teaches us the value of intentionality and focus. It's not about saying yes to every opportunity, but rather about discerning which opportunities align with our values and long-term goals. Let me share a personal story. Early in my career, I was a yes man. I believed that seizing every opportunity would lead to success. I took on every project, every networking event, every chance that came my way. But soon, I found myself spread too thin, with my energy and effectiveness diluted. I was busy, but not productive. It was through the lens of Stoicism that I learned the importance of selective opportunity. I started to evaluate each opportunity based on whether it aligned with my core values and long-term objectives. By focusing on what truly mattered, I was able to make more meaningful contributions and achieve a greater sense of fulfillment. The Stoics teach us to be mindful of where we invest our time and energy. They remind us that not all opportunities are created equal, and some are distractions in disguise. By being selective, we can focus on what truly enriches our lives and helps us grow. So what's the key takeaway here? It's about quality over quantity. Don't feel pressured to seize every opportunity. Instead, take the time to evaluate which opportunities are truly worth your time and effort. By doing so, you'll find a clearer, more purposeful path. As we continue, think about how you can apply this Stoic principle to your own life. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the best opportunities are the ones we choose not to pursue. Life advice number 5, live without regrets. Finally, let's address a piece of advice that many find appealing. Live without regrets. It's a mantra that suggests we should live boldly without looking back or second-guessing our choices. But is it really possible or even wise to live a life without regrets? From a Stoic perspective, the idea of living without regrets can be misguided. Regrets, when understood and processed correctly, are powerful teachers. They help us reflect on our actions, learn from our mistakes, and make better decisions in the future. I'd like to share a personal experience to illustrate this point. There was a time in my life when I made a significant career decision without fully considering the long-term implications. Initially, I embraced the no regrets mindset, convincing myself that it was a learning experience and nothing more. But deep down, I knew I had made a mistake. It was only when I allowed myself to fully acknowledge and reflect on this regret that I began to understand what went wrong and why. This introspection guided me to make more informed and thoughtful decisions moving forward. The Stoics teach us to view regrets not as burdens, but as opportunities for growth. Regrets highlight areas where we can improve and steer us toward a more virtuous path. They remind us that it's okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them. So what's the takeaway? Embrace your regrets as valuable lessons. Don't shy away from them or bury them deep inside. Instead, use them as a catalyst for personal development. By reflecting on past experiences with a critical yet compassionate eye, you can make wiser choices and cultivate a life of greater purpose and meaning. As we wrap up today's discussion, consider how you can turn your own regrets into stepping stones for growth. Remember, it's not about living without regrets, but about learning and evolving through them. And there you have it, Knowledge Journey community. We've taken a deep dive into 5 pieces of popular life advice that, when re-examined through the lens of Stoicism, reveal deeper truths and more fulfilling paths. To recap, 1. Always follow your heart. Balance your emotions with reason and wisdom. 2. Put yourself first. Find harmony between self-care and contributing to the greater good. 3. Don't worry about what others think. Discern between helpful and unhelpful feedback. 4. Seize every opportunity. Prioritize quality over quantity in the opportunities you pursue. 5. Live without regrets. Embrace regrets as valuable lessons for personal growth. Each of these pieces of advice, while well-intentioned, can lead us astray if taken at face value. But by applying Stoic principles, we can navigate these common life tips with a more balanced and thoughtful approach. Stoicism teaches us to live a life of virtue, intentionality, and reflection. It encourages us to be mindful of our choices, to seek wisdom, and to strive for personal growth while considering the impact of our actions on others. I hope today's discussion has given you new insights and a fresh perspective on how to approach the advice we often hear. Remember, it's not about blindly following any mantra, but about finding what truly aligns with your values and goals. As we conclude, I encourage you to reflect on your own life. Which pieces of advice have you questioned? How can Stoic wisdom guide you to make better, more fulfilling decisions? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploration and self-discovery. If you found value in today's discussion, please consider subscribing to our channel, Knowledge Journey, for more content on Stoicism, personal growth, and living a meaningful life. Until next time, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and keep exploring.